Have you ever pondered upon the provocative idea of the death of God? If so, you ventured into the realm of Friedrich Nietzsche. This German philosopher, a true enigma of the 19th century, spun a web of thoughts so intricate that it continues to entangle the minds of thinkers even today. Nietzsche's philosophy, filled with audacious concepts like the will to power and the death of God, often leaves one in a quandary. His views on communism and Nazi Germany continue to spark debates, adding to the enigma that is Nietzsche. But beyond his philosophical musings lies a man with a story that is just as compelling. A story that comprises shocking, even saddening personal facts that remain unknown to many. A tale that is as intriguing as the philosophy he propagated. But to understand Nietzsche's philosophy, we must first delve into his life. Born in 1844, Nietzsche's life was as intriguing as his philosophy. Born Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche in a small German village, the young philosopher was brought up in a devoutly religious household. His father, a Lutheran pastor and former teacher, along with his mother, instilled in him the importance of faith from a young age. However, a tragedy struck the Nietzsche household when Friedrich was just 5 years old. His father, after a prolonged illness, passed away. The death of his father was a pivotal moment in Nietzsche's life. The loss of the man he looked up to, his first mentor, marked the beginning of a journey that would lead Nietzsche to question the very foundations of human existence. Following this, Nietzsche was raised by his mother, grandmother, 2 aunts and a sister, in a household dominated by women. This feminine influence played a significant role in shaping Nietzsche's personality and thoughts. Nietzsche's exceptional intelligence was evident from his early years. He attended Schulpforte, an exclusive boarding school, where he excelled academically. It was here, amidst the ancient Greek and Roman texts, that Nietzsche was first introduced to philosophy. He was particularly influenced by the works of the ancient philosopher Empedocles, whose ideas about the eternal recurrence of all things would later become a central theme in Nietzsche's own philosophy. Nietzsche's early life was steeped in faith and education. His mother's devout religious beliefs, coupled with his schooling, exposed him to the teachings of Christianity. Yet, Nietzsche found himself increasingly skeptical of religion. He started questioning the idea of a benevolent God and the promise of an afterlife. These questions, which first arose in his formative years, would later form the basis of Nietzsche's radical philosophy. A lesser-known fact about Nietzsche's early years is his love for music. He was a talented pianist and composer who dreamt of becoming a musician. However, destiny had other plans. Nietzsche's passion for music would later translate into his philosophy, where he often used musical metaphors to express his ideas. These early experiences would shape Nietzsche's philosophical journey. The loss of his father, his early exposure to ancient philosophy, his skepticism towards religion and his love for music. All these elements combined to create the unique philosopher that was Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche's philosophy didn't materialize in a vacuum. He was influenced by some of the most prominent thinkers of his time. In the intellectual banquet of the 19th century, 2 figures profoundly shaped Nietzsche's philosophical journey: Arthur Schopenhauer and Richard Wagner. Schopenhauer, a German philosopher, introduced Nietzsche to the concept of will, a primal force driving all human action and desire. Schopenhauer's pessimistic view of human existence, where individuals are perpetually trapped in a cycle of desire and suffering, resonated with Nietzsche initially. However, Nietzsche eventually broke away from Schopenhauer's pessimism, embracing the struggle of existence and transforming it into a source of personal power and affirmation. Then there was Richard Wagner, the celebrated composer. More than just a musical influence, Wagner represented the quintessential artist-philosopher for Nietzsche. Wagner's integration of art, music and philosophy into a unified, transformative experience deeply impacted Nietzsche. However, their friendship soured over time as Nietzsche grew disillusioned with Wagner's growing nationalism and anti-Semitism. These influences, among others, played a significant role in shaping Nietzsche's philosophy. The notion of will from Schopenhauer evolved into Nietzsche's concept of will to power, the driving force behind human ambition and achievement. Nietzsche's appreciation for art and culture, heavily influenced by Wagner, manifested in his philosophy as the Dionysian principle, representing chaos, creativity, and life's inherent irrationality. But Nietzsche was not merely an intellectual sponge, absorbing the ideas of his predecessors. He was a philosophical alchemist, taking the raw elements of thoughts that came before him and transmuting them into something entirely unique, a philosophy that challenged the very foundations of morality, religion, and the meaning of life itself. From the pessimism of Schopenhauer, Nietzsche extracted a powerful affirmation of life. From Wagner's grand operas, he distilled a philosophy that celebrated the tumultuous, often irrational beauty of existence. Armed with these influences, Nietzsche would go on to make significant contributions to philosophy. Nietzsche's philosophy was groundbreaking, even if controversial. Friedrich Nietzsche's contributions to the world of philosophy were nothing short of profound, and his ideas continue to influence thinkers and scholars even today. Let's delve into his concept of the will to power. Nietzsche proposed that all life is driven by this will to power, by this inherent desire to exert one's will and dominate over others. This is not as grim as it may sound, rather it's an acknowledgement of the inherent struggle and competition that is part of life. It's about striving to be the best you can be, to reach your highest potential. But naturally, this idea was met with controversy. Critics argue that it could be interpreted as an endorsement of social Darwinism or survival of the fittest, potentially justifying inequality and oppression. Then there's the provocative declaration of the death of God. Nietzsche proclaimed, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." Now, before you raise your eyebrows, let's unpack this. Nietzsche wasn't referring to a literal deity, but rather to the declining influence of traditional religious morality in society. He saw a future where secular values would replace religious ones, a prediction that has been somewhat realized in many parts of the world today. This idea was, and still is, quite controversial, especially amongst religious communities. Nietzsche also had strong views on political ideologies, particularly communism and the rising tide of fascism in his time. He was critical of communism, arguing that it stifled individuality and the will to power. As for Nazi Germany, it's important to clarify that Nietzsche died long before the rise of the Third Reich. However, his works were later misappropriated by the Nazis to justify their ideology, a gross misinterpretation that has unfortunately tainted Nietzsche's legacy. But here's a lesser-known fact about Nietzsche that might come as a surprise. He was a staunch critic of anti-Semitism, a belief that was disturbingly prevalent in his time. He even ended his friendship with composer Richard Wagner over Wagner's anti-Semitic views. This is a significant fact that is often overlooked, but it underscores Nietzsche's commitment to individuality and his disdain for herd mentality. Nietzsche's philosophy was not without controversy, but his influence is undeniable. His ideas continue to provoke thought and debate, challenging us to question our beliefs and values, and that perhaps is the true power of philosophy. Nietzsche's philosophy continues to resonate today, but why? Well, let's delve into that. Nietzsche's work, in all its audacity and depth, has left an indelible mark on the canvas of human thought. His ideas, such as the will to power and the death of God, have become deeply entrenched in modern discourse, influencing a spectrum of fields from psychology to pop culture. Take his concept of will to power, for instance. In a world where power dynamics shape everything from political landscapes to interpersonal relationships, Nietzsche's insights give us a lens to critically examine and understand these dynamics. Similarly, his proclamation of the death of God is far from being a mere theological debate. It is a profound commentary on the changing moral and ethical landscape of society. Nietzsche's relevance isn't confined to his philosophies alone. His life too offers a fascinating study. Here's a lesser-known fact about Nietzsche. He was an exceptional pianist and composer, with over 40 musical works to his name. This is a testament to the man's creative genius, which extended beyond the realm of philosophy. But the true power of Nietzsche's legacy lies in its ability to provoke thought. His philosophies do not hand us answers on a silver platter. Instead, they challenge us to question, to ponder, to wrestle with uncomfortable truths. In an age where we are constantly bombarded with information, Nietzsche's work serves as a reminder of the importance of critical thinking and introspection. Despite his passing over a century ago, Nietzsche's influence remains undimmed. His ideas continue to spark debate and inspire thought across the globe. Whether it's in the realm of philosophy, psychology, literature, or even everyday discourse, the echoes of Nietzsche's voice can be heard loud and clear. Nietzsche's work, controversial and thought-provoking, continues to challenge us, reminding us that the death of God may be more about us than about the divine. His legacy thus serves as a mirror, reflecting back to us the complexities, contradictions, and possibilities of human existence. Thank you for joining us on this philosophical journey through the life and legacy of Friedrich Nietzsche. We hope that this exploration has sparked curiosity and provoked thought, as Nietzsche's work continues to do even today. As we navigate the complexities of our own lives, let's remember Nietzsche's audacity to question and his courage to embrace uncomfortable truths. In these challenging times, let us also remember to take care of each other and ourselves. We look forward to embarking on another intellectual adventure with you in our next episode of Philosophical Flicks. Until then, keep pondering, stay curious, and remember, as Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Until next time, stay safe and keep the flame of curiosity alive.